Good morning, everyone. I am Deepak Bhattar, volunteer for OVBI and project lead for Rajasthan and Maharashtra. I welcome you to OVBI Live series. Today, we have a great topic where some of our guests have turned deserts of Rajasthan into farms. And the special guest is Water Mother of India, Amla Ruya ji. She's the founder of Akar Charitable Trust, and Bhupendra Singh ji, who's the project lead for Akar Charitable Trust. And I invite Mohan Trikhaji, our co-chair, to take the discussion forward.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning from California. And for all of you, today's the times have changed. So time in the sense of the clock. So special welcome to Ruya ji, who's in India, staying up late. Well, first of all, a word or two about OVBI Water. OVBI stands for Overseas Volunteers for Better India. So we are a charitable organization, 501(c) in the United States, basically focus on water. We have done 500 villages in India for eliminating water poverty across north, all the way in Rajasthan, all the way down to Tamil Nadu. Um, those 500 villages have impacted almost 1 million people. And our mission is to totally eliminate uh, water scarcity in thousands of villages in India. By 2030, we want to eliminate this. This morning, it's my pleasure and honor to welcome Amla Ruyeji and Mr. Bhupender Singh. She is known in India as the water lady, or as fondly Amitabh Bachchan on Kaun Banega Crorepati says, she is Jal Devi. She's been recognized by many organizations and featured by BBC. You will see that a little later. NDTV, and as I said, Kaun Banega Crorepati by Amitabh Bachchan. She's done phenomenal work in solving water issues for hundreds of villages in Rajasthan. Amla ji belongs to a famous Ruya family of Bombay. She's on a mission to create water sources for millions, and today her Akar Charitable Trust has built 425 check dams impacting 400 villages and literally uplifting them from poverty. Amlaji's approach is very simple. She involves the community in a successful initiative, make them contribute 30% of the project cost of the check dams. She builds these check dams, and her trust funds the balance 70%. So 30% comes from the villagers themselves. She says the reason for doing that is for the the villagers to take ownership, then they preserve that and maintain them properly. Her check dams have brought prosperity. Farmers are growing three crops where there was nothing. The cultivated land in these villages has increased, and people who used to migrate to cities looking for jobs have returned home. Women have been spared the drudgery of finding water. Girls are starting to attend schools, and the health and hygiene levels in these villages have significantly improved. Amlaji started this thing in 2005, and she's doubled down on it after her husband passed away. And she says, my dream from 400 villages to do 3,000 villages. I think she's going to do many more than 3,000. She has collected over the last 5 years about $5 million, which, as I said, is the project cost. She's been herself funding from her own resources over $1 million in that same time frame. And would you believe that her $5 million has improved or yielded $100 million a year of the output from these villages. So at 20x in 1 year. And not only this, it generates for generation. So it would be continuing to have that kind of impact. So it's a phenomenal situation. Most of her work is in Rajasthan, but she's done some other work in Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, and she's open to doing more and more. On top of all this, she's an absolute model of humility, simplicity, and has a golden voice and a wonderful heartfelt poems. You will see some of the glimpse soon after we go into the conversation. But let's start with a snippet or a glimpse of what BBC said about Amla ji. Welcome, Amla ji. Dolly, can you please?
Sorry for the issue. I might be able to add the sound.
हमारी सिंचाई सिर्फ कुएं से होती है, इसके अलावा कोई साधन नहीं है और किसी से नदी नाले से तो हमारी सिंचाई होती नहीं।
Something had to be done for a permanent solution. It was conceived with the idea of building check dams because that was the solution. This is not a new solution. This was practiced by our ancestors. To start, the villagers were not ready to believe in us. because they thought we have some ulterior motive. Because of the 40% which the villagers are contributing, they begin to feel it is our work, our own work, it belongs to us. I can't believe that such a lake has come about in the middle of the desert. It is giving sustenance to 7 villages. The whole scenario is not changed, it is transformed. Where they couldn't even own one cattle, they now have 8 to 9. Where they couldn't take one crop, they are taking 2 or sometimes even 3rd crop. Their female offspring is going to school because the mother no longer has to go long distances to fetch water.
ये जो चेक डैम बनवाए हो इसका फायदा इस लोगों को होगा और आगे जाके ये जो सीजनल क्रॉप है उसको सपोर्ट हो रहा है, लेकिन इसके लिमिटेशन भी है कि जस्ट लाइक वो भारत को एप्लीकेबल नहीं हो सकता क्योंकि भारत में अलग तरह की ज्योग्राफी है।
I told my husband once that I will continue to look after my check dams till I'm 90. So he said, what will you do for the next 30 years? You're going to continue to work till you're 120.
Amlaji, fantastic. Congratulations for such tremendous work, especially where the poorest and the hardest hit part of India in Rajasthan. What a transformation. So nice to see you, Amlaji. And thank you for staying up late in India. It's already almost 11 o'clock there. You have Amlaji worked for years in the poorest part and many villages. Can you walk our audience through where did you get this tremendous amount of inspiration, and why did you focus on water poverty?
Of seeing the images of the famine stricken one evening on the TV in the late 1990s. The images were heartrending. That year, Rajasthan was reeling under the throes of a severe famine. My family had already started sending lorries of food and tankers of water to the affected villages. But to my mind, this was not the solution that could cure the syndrome of droughts and famines that repeatedly plagued Rajasthan and many other parts of the country. I, a lone housewife, was daunted by the immensity and complexity of the mission that I had undertaken. But taking a cue from our own cultural heritage and knowing that a solution is bound to be there, our cultural heritage says, यही है वो धरती जहां हमने मिलकर जल की व्यवस्था खुद ही संभाली, न सरकार पे छोड़ी न संस्था पे डाली, सलिल की सुनीतियां खुद ही बना ली। ये सदियों पुरानी है प्यासी कहानी, पर हमने न इससे कभी हार मानी। I also persevere relentlessly. My quest took me to Marwar region, Pali district. That year, this area had received lot of rain. I vividly recall this bunch of women carrying their water vessels, going down a step well or a baudi as they call it in India, in order to collect the water which they required for their household purposes. You see, the task of getting the water or fulfilling the water needs of the family falls on the slender shoulders of the woman in India. The women filled their pots, two to each woman, and were now ready to climb all those steps and head homeward 2 to 4 kilometers away. I requested one of the ladies to let me hold the pot for a minute. A minute was too long. I couldn't even hold it for 15 seconds. In that split second, gone was the pride of my physical fitness program. And my mind was made up. I could not let my rural sisters live this life of drudgery day after day, year after year, to the end of their lives, and then hand over the burden of being the water collectors for the family to the next generation of women. My resolve gathered momentum, and at last I came upon certain structures which had the capacity to hold enough water for at least 2 crops. This was the solution I was looking for. This could pull them out of their lowly, poverty-stricken situations and put them on a new level of economic self-sufficiency. The constructions were part masonry and part earthen bunding. This was the solution I was looking for. However, it was for me now to build such structures which the villagers called anicuts. What a strange name. I looked it up in both the Hindi and English dictionaries, but finding nothing of the kind in either of them, I decided to call my structures check dams, little knowing at that time that I would be doing a great injustice to my own constructions, which were much larger than what is understood by the term check dam, because mine had the capacity to hold crores of liters of water, recharge hundreds of wells, and convert several hundred acres of arid land into irrigated farmland. So this is how I began the journey.
Beautifully said and beautifully explained. I had a chance last year in 2019 when I visited Pali and saw some of this work, and you're absolutely right. This is totally transformational village. Now, maybe for audience's benefit, can you describe how do you select a village? How do you convince these people not only to work, but they are so poor and yet they give up 30% of their income, you know, to be able to do this work? How do you do this, and what is your cost model, and how does it work?
Shall I tell it through the first check dam which I had built? You will be able to understand how we go about it.
Yeah, sure.
First and foremost, what we do is we select an area which is particularly suitable for check dams. You need a little undulating soil, undulating land where there is a runoff, and you can collect a lot of water with a single shower of the monsoon rains. That means that there should be some hills which would act as catchment, and the entire hill range would collect sufficient water to fill the check dam. So we had come upon such an area in Udaipur Vati district in Rajasthan, in Udaipur, in Mundavra village, Udaipur Vati district. So what happened? We went over there and we saw it was a case of thirsty people living in abject penury, thirsty land, parched fields, denuded environment, degraded soil, and devastated economies. All the able-bodied had already left for urban settlements in order to earn a living. Living over there a life of total indignity, facing urban apathy in the hope of being able to support their families back home because their land was yielding zero income. Now, in this village of Mundara, where all the men folk had departed, the women gathered together and came to us and they said, please build a water harvesting structure for us. That was the need of the village. That is the thing which could have solved their problems. We readily agreed. At that time, Akar Charitable Trust was just a team of 2. We told them that we would stand solidly behind them, provide them with all the expertise and funds required to build the structure. So the labor for the masonry construction would be ours, all the cement, the JCP, the tractor, everything from our side, the expertise, the skill required to build the check dam. They would have to collect the stone and gravel for the masonry structure. At that time, they could easily pick it up from, they could collect the stones that were strewn in that area. They could go to a riverbed and pick up the gravel from there and bring it to their site. So they didn't have to shell out any money. On the other hand, during the construction, we would be paying them 2/3 the wages and 1/3 would be their contribution. So they were so hard pressed for money that this 2/3 which we were giving to them as wages to do the work over there was the income which would allow them to run their lives smoothly. And they knew that this is the only way that they could come out of their this below the poverty line existence that they were now undergoing. I vividly recall the first day that the check dam was to be, that they were to commence the work. There was a ray of hope in the whole village. More than 250 people had gathered together and were working hectically in temperatures exceeding 45 degrees Fahrenheit. And most of the labor force consisted of the women with their children lending them a helping hand and a few aged and infirm people who still resided in the village. This check dam, as well as all the other check dams that we have subsequently built, has been the result of the unstinting efforts of our dedicated field workers who intermingle with the community, take on their mantle of burdens, sort out their problems, simultaneously motivate them to contribute their part of our understanding. The words that they may be using to motivate the villagers could be summed up thus. लो हाथों में हाथ लो, एक दूजे का साथ दो, इस धरती का सोया भाग्य जगाएंगे, मरुधरा को फिर से स्वर्ग बनाएंगे। ढूंढ सको तो इस माटी में सोना है, हिम्मत का हथियार नहीं बस खोना है। इस जीवन को साज दो, मौन नहीं आवाज दो, सन्नाटों के हम सरगम बन जाएंगे, मरुधरा को फिर से स्वर्ग बनाएंगे। 2 months of absolutely dedicated hard work under the blistering sun saw the completion of this check dam just in time to collect the silver raindrops of the first monsoon showers of the season. Soon the check dam was filled to overflowing. The villagers were overjoyed. They had never seen such a sea of water in their barren villages. क्या ये मुझे होने लगा, ऐसा ये जल जो दिखा, सूखी माटी जल से पटी, सारा ये कष्ट मिटा, सूखे का रोग हटा, कैसा ये जादू घटा, कैसा ये जादू घटा. People from neighboring villages converged upon this water structure to see the water marvel that had been created in this village. The women were ecstatic not only because their dreams had got translated into a structure at the ground level. ये शब्दों की गूंजें जो जल से मिली, ये विचारों की कड़ियां जब श्रम से मिली, तो पावन हुई धरती, पावन हुई. So the women were ecstatic because now their men folk had started returning back home. बहारें रंग लाई हैं कि बहनें मुस्कुराई हैं कि अब तो बालम गांव में लौट आए हैं. In the very first year, they earned a net income of 2 crores where they had zero income earlier. So that this hard-earned money does not get frittered away in addictions such as alcohol and tobacco, we make them take a solemn oath before starting the construction of the check dam to give up their addictions and malpractices such as dowry, mrityu bhoj, and child marriage, to which they readily agree. So much is their need for this life-saving, life-generating ingredient that we call water. We will never be able to understand what the villagers go through because we are all city-bred and city-born. Unless we who are urban settlers can look upon every drop of water that falls from the sky as a drop of liquid silver, we would never be able to do justice to this life-sustaining, life-generating, life-creating substance or the essence of life that water is.
Beautifully said, Amlaji. What a transformation. And not only that, I saw it in my own eyes. These villages, they really love you. So we are so lucky to be working with you. And OVBI has contributed at least for 4 villages, 4 check dams, and they are doing so well. So now I'm going to move and ask Bhupinder-ji, who's your head of operations in the field, and I had the pleasure of being with him for 2 days in that hot sun, 50 degrees Celsius. Namaskar, namaskar, namaskar ji. कैसे हो भूपिंदर जी, कैसे हो?
एकदम ठीक हूँ सर.
so nice. बहुत खुशी हुई आपको मिलके दोबारा.
जी जी, मुझे भी बहुत खुशी हो रही है आपसे जुड़ करके.
तो भूपिंदर जी, let me just tell the audience a little bit about your background. So आपको तो ये काम करना कॉलेज दिन से पसंद है, जब आपने
जी बिल्कुल
डिग्री की उसके बाद, और उसके बाद इसी काम में लगे हुए हो फॉर एवर.
बिल्कुल सर. जी जी सर.
तो आप अमला जी के साथ 2008 से काम कर रहे हो,
right? जी 2008 से. जी
हाँ. तो आपकी तो टीम छोटी सी टीम है, 10 लोग काम करते हैं, लेकिन आपने 2500 लोगों को अपने साथ मिलके ये चेक डैम बनाए हैं.
जी
मैं देख रहा था
जी
122 डिग्रीज फ़ारेनहीट में लोग, जब आदमी खड़ा नहीं हो सकता था, वो काम कर रहे थे, ये चेक डैम बना रहे थे.
काम कर रहे थे. जी बिल्कुल.
हाँ. अच्छा, मैं अभी एक डॉली से कहूंगा वो वीडियो दिखाएं जो आपने एक चेक डैम बनाया है OVBI की कंट्रीब्यूशन के थ्रू. तो उसके बाद फिर बात करते हैं.
ठीक है. ठीक.
डॉली प्लीज, कैन यू स्टार्ट दैट वीडियो?
आज दिनांक 30/7/2019 को हम मावतों के चेक डैम पर खड़े हैं. इसका निर्माण कार्य 25 अप्रैल 2019 को पूरा हो गया था। और इसमें OVBI का 3,66,850 रुपए और VCE का 3,46,853 रुपए और गांव वालों का 2,89,935 रुपए खर्च हुआ है। और इसकी चादर चल गई थी, अब तो थोड़ा 4-5 इंच कम है और पानी बहुत लंबा आगे तक भरा हुआ है। ये जो कुआं है, ये कुआं जमीन लेवल पानी का भरा हुआ है और गांव वाले बहुत खुश हैं और इसमें कोई नुकसान नहीं, बहुत अच्छा चेक डैम बना है इसका पूरा।
और नीचे झरना चल रहे हैं, इसमें भी झरना दिखा। 1 किलोमीटर तक झरना चल रहा है।
आज दिनांक,
हाँ जी, ब्यूटीफुली डन। बहुत खुशी हो रही है देख के भाई उसमें पानी बरसा ना। आपसे ये पूछना है भी आप ये इतनी गर्मी में इतनी मुश्किल के साथ इतने गांव वालों को कैसे इकट्ठा करते हैं, कैसे आप उनको मोटिवेट करते हैं? वो अपना काम भी करते हैं, आपको जमीन भी देते हैं, ये कैसे आप उनको कन्विंस करते हैं? ऑडियंस के साथ जरा बताइए।
जी सर, लोग तो जब एक शुरू में थोड़ी दिक्कत जरूर होती है हमको, किसी क्षेत्र में जहाँ नया क्षेत्र होता है वहां दिक्कत होती है, लेकिन एक चेक डैम जब बन जाता है और उसका रिजल्ट लोग देखते हैं तो फिर उसके बाद तो खुद ही कन्विंस हो जाते हैं लोग और खुद ही अप्रोच करते हैं। हमें कन्विंस करने की जरूरत ही महसूस नहीं होती, लोग खुद आते हैं कि हमारे यहाँ पे चेक डैम बनना चाहिए, फला गांव में आप चलो वहां पे चेक डैम की रिक्वायरमेंट है, वहां पे अगर चेक डैम बन जाएगा तो इतने जो है परिवारों को फायदा होगा, इतने लोगों का जीवन बदल जाएगा। और लोगों को लगता भी है कि जो लोग बाहर चले गए, जिस जमीन पे खेती नहीं हो रही और एक चेक डैम बनाने से ये बदलाव आ गया तो वो क्यों ना इस काम को कर लें। बस उसी से मोटिवेट होकर के लोग तैयार होते हैं।
हाँ बिल्कुल, बड़े अच्छी तरह समझाया आपने। तो भूपेंद्र जी, देखा है मैंने आपने जो काम किया उसके रिजल्ट्स इतने फिनोमिनल हैं। जहां कुछ भी नहीं उग रहा था, अब 3 फसल उग रही हैं। तो आपने जो रिपोर्ट इकट्ठी करी है उसको हम थोड़ा ऑडियंस को बताना चाहते हैं। तो मैं अपने प्रोजेक्ट डायरेक्टर दीपक भट्टर से बोलूंगा कि आप थोड़ा बताइए द इम्पैक्ट एनालिसिस। दीपक।
Sure, Mohanji.
So Deepak is our director of projects and is a phenomenal, dedicated soul. So Deepak, please.
Thank you, Mohanji. So we have some pictures for the audience to see how it was before the intervention and after intervention. You can see on the left, we have completely arid land, desert, and you can see as the check dams are being constructed. And after intervention, you can see the first time the farming is happening on those fields and how the farms are coming to life. So first one we have is Mavto check dam. Second one is Agla Khet check dam. This is again similar, very arid area. Not much is happening there, and again the farms are getting built first time, sort of. And you can see how this has transformed the income. So Dolly, if you can go to the next slide, please. So this is very, very interesting here. So they were taking only one crop a year, and that was rain fed. And the project cost is on an average somewhere between 8 to 9 lakhs, which is close to like 0.9 million rupees. And the produce in the village, for example, Agla Khet, we had a produce of 25 million rupees, and that has gone up to around 400 million rupees in the first year itself. The second one is Bhadana Luharo. The improvement there is 150% in the first year, and Mavto, which you saw 125% in the first year. Now, what happens here is, this is very interesting. This is the impact in the first year. But as you go to the next coming years, you have more, fodder or chara, as they say in the villages, to feed the animals. And then you, as Amlaji said, they have from one animal or one cow or one buffalo, they increase it to 8 or 9, and their incomes start skyrocketing. So in the second or third year, the incomes go to 200%, 250%, 300% is what we have seen in the villages.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you, Deepak ji, for sharing. And I think, as I indicated before, one particular check dam costs around 9 to 10 lakhs. ठीक है भूपेंद्र जी, 9 और 10 लाख
जी बिल्कुल
कॉस्ट करता है
जी
और जब वो पानी आ जाता है तो गांव में करोड़ हो जाता है, 1 करोड़ 2 करोड़. So there is a multiple of 20x. So nature's bounty is shared by hundreds of families with the millions being, and for a generation, this is just 1 year. So such a transformation with nature's bounty, there is no better ROI, as we call it, than this. Return on investment is so phenomenal, and the happiness and transformation all around is just phenomenal. So there can't be a better way than this. Thank you so much. भूपेंद्र जी, ये बताइए, आप ये डेटा कैसे कलेक्ट करते हैं?
सर, ये डेटा जब हम साइट सिलेक्शन करते हैं गांव वालों के साथ में, तभी हम लेते हैं कि यहाँ पे चेक डैम बनाने की स्थिति क्या है, इससे कितने परिवारों को फायदा होगा ना, अभी यहाँ कौन सी फसलें लेते हैं, कितनी पैदावार, उनके प्रोडक्शन कितना हो जाता है पर एकड़ में, उसमें लागत कितनी आती है. चेक डैम बनने के बाद में जब बारिश होती है और पानी भरता है, कुएं ऊपर तक लबालब भर जाते हैं, या कुछ में 5 फीट, किसी में 10 फीट, कोई तो ग्राउंड लेवल तक भर जाता है, तब फिर हम वापस लोगों के साथ में बैठते हैं वहीं पर और फिर मालूम करते हैं कि चेक डैम से कौन कौन से कितने कुओं में जो पानी ऊपर आया और कितनी इस बार जो खेती करेंगे लोग या की है, जो फसल होती है रबी की, तब हम इसके आंकड़े निकालते हैं, लोगों से बातचीत करते हैं, तब लोग बताते हैं कि इस बार उस कुएं पे इतनी एक्स्ट्रा जमीन में खेती कर रहे हैं लोग, उस कुएं पे इतनी है, उस कुएं पे इतनी है. तो सारे डेटा कलेक्ट करके हम, पहले इतनी जमीन में खेती होती थी, अब इतनी में और इतनी एक्स्ट्रा बढ़ गई है, पहले कॉस्ट ये आती थी, अब कॉस्ट ये आ रही है, पहले प्रोडक्शन इतना था, अब इतना है. ये सारा निकाल करके फिर हम जो इसको कैलकुलेट करके ये आपके सामने रखते हैं.
फिनोमिनल. थैंक यू, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. और खुदा करेगा, परमात्मा करेगा, फिर दोबारा आपसे मिलने की मौका मिलेगा. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
धन्यवाद, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपको भी.
अच्छा, अब मैं अमला जी से ये पूछना चाहता हूँ. अमला जी, ये तो 400 गांव हैं, आपने किए 400-500 चेक डैम बनाए हैं. अगर आप राजस्थान में ही देखें तो 25,000 विलेजेस हैं जहां पानी नहीं है. तो वो कैसे, आपका विजन कैसा है भी, कैसे इसको सबको ठीक किया जाए और कैसे कर सकते हैं?
You see, every area has got its own solutions. It has its own unique design, its own solutions. So one can't go by a standard way of solving the water problem. In Rajasthan, check dams are particularly successful because the water gets soaked. The aquifers are closer to the upper layer of the soil and they are smaller in size, so they get filled very easily, and then underground streams start flowing. And when the impervious layer under the streams comes to the absolute top of next to the topsoil, then we have springs appearing in the course of the river, and thus the river becomes perennially flowing. And these rivers wherever they are going, they will recharge wells in their vicinity. So under each check dam, 8-9 kilometers of the river we find flowing, which recharges about 150 wells in many of under our check dams. Now, in other parts of the country, you're talking about Rajasthan, not all areas are suitable, but wherever they are suitable, and our prime condition is where the villagers are willing to contribute to that extent, only then we help them. Because resources are always limited, although the need is extensive, but if we relax on our norms, then we will find that our work has ceased to become sustainable or long lasting. It is only when their hard earned money as well as their perspiration has gone into the structure that they are willing to consider it as their own and look after it for years and years to come. That is the reason why we take this kind of contribution from the villagers, though they are poor. We have to be hard-hearted, so that it is for the benefit of the villagers that we are hard-hearted when we say that we will not construct it unless you are willing to put your side of the contribution into the structure.
Very
So
well
that is
said.
regarding Rajasthan. They also understand that this is the only solution. They know the benefits of the check dams and therefore they will willingly undertake. So I believe that at least in half the areas of Rajasthan, we will be able to do check dams which are, which can sustain the lives of the people over.
No, you're so right. You're so right. This tough love approach, as I call it, I saw that in Pali, near Jodhpur, south of Ajmer, and those areas are just phenomenal. The ground is dying for water, and
Yes.
we don't appreciate it that that region only gets 2 inches of rain a year.
Yes.
Here we are in California and we call it drought when there is 20 inches of rain. So we don't appreciate the value of water. But 2 inches and they yet able to survive is just absolutely phenomena. Amalaji, I'm going to ask you a last question and then we will see if there are questions from the audience. The last question is that are there any reasons why you only believe in a self-help model and non-government intervention, because you don't take any money from the government? And there are so many schemes available by the government. Why is it that your experience, you say, no, we should only do it, without? Can you share with the audience why you think this is the best approach?
So I'll tell you a small story here again to explain my point of view. We did a check dam in Bihar, which is called Buddha Buddhi Ka check dam. The government had taken out an estimate of 6.5 crores for this check dam. Then they themselves thought that this was inflating the figures too much, so they came up with a revised estimate of 2.5 crores of rupees. Then the villagers, but it was never built. It was only promised and promised every year at the time of election, but it was never built. Then the villagers approached us and we built that check dam, which has helped 20 villages downstream. We built it in 19 lakhs of our money and 11 lakhs of the villagers' money. So in 30 lakhs, we built what the government had said would cost 2 crores 50 lakhs. So, if you take government money, what they will say is that we won't give the money, but our contractors will execute the structure. I do not want to give it in their hands for execution, then my control over the strength of the structure will not be there. When I go to the site and they are building a check dam, I tell the mason that this structure has to last for 500 years. You build it in such a way that iska baal bhi baka nahi ho 500 saal tak. And when I say this statement, immediately there is a difference in the way he has been working. And besides, I do not know how to, fill their pockets and maintain my accounts. I cannot do that. Our work is totally overboard. I'm so sorry to say this. I don't want to say it. I don't want to criticize any other organization. But I would like to have control over the work that I'm executing so that its quality is maintained. That's all. And also, I'm very cost conscious. That is why I have maintained only a skeleton organization and kept the overheads really low. It is that is the reason why I can attract NGOs like you to come to the aid of this noble cause of water. Because I know nobody would be able to execute it in as little money as what we take to build a check dam.
Very well said. Very well said. Dolly, are there any questions from the audience?
There is a question from Manu Nambodari. He has commented and then asked a question. He said, "Love how you've tied the future of the village addictions to the implementation of the project Amlaji. Is there some idea if the continual success or failure is tied to this promise also?"
I haven't understood what promise he's talking about.
Being away from addiction.
Yes, ongoing.
How much they can adhere to their own promises. So you see, as a rule, the places that we have so far chosen, the people have been so poor that there is no scope for them to have alcohol or tobacco. So many of them say that, oh, we don't have any alcohol. Okay, there is some tobacco. Only the old people who are in the habit of taking alcohol, they may continue to take, but amongst the younger generation, they have managed to stay away from their addictions. We also make a ceremony of it in the midst of all the people. We tell them to empty their pockets of all the tobacco that they are having in their pockets, and we collect it and set fire to it. Then we ask them a question that, do you want Lakshmi to remain in your house, or would you rather that she leaves you? So then they will obviously say that we would like Lakshmi to be with us. Then I say that then you must have such practices which will keep the Lakshmi in your house. So then, and they see the kind of improvement that has come about in their lives, their lifestyles. Each household has at least 2 two-wheelers. Each village can boast of 5 or 6 tractors. Each household has 8 to 9 cattle head tied to their doorstep. And the interesting part is that the income from the milk products or milk comes directly into the hands of the woman. The income from the crops is collected by the men, but because the women are looking after their cattle, they are making the khoa out of and the ghee from the milk. So all that income comes in their hand, because of which they shine up their homes and they make their own lives and the lives of their children much more comfortable than what they have ever thought in their wildest dreams.
Thank you so much. There is another question by Bhupat Rai, and he said, "You have done very well with water problem of the villages. What else does a village need to become economically vibrant?"
Of course, one can do a lot more, and I had started my project with the idea of doing integrated development of the villages. But the first need for any village was water. I was wondering, how can I ask them to educate their daughters, to do so many other activities when they have no water? How am I to improve their health? What else can I do for that? Then I realized that I need to provide them water first. When I started doing the work of water, I realized there is no more spoon feeding required for the villagers. They are intelligent enough to take care of their subsequent needs once they have the resource of the money which they earn from their crops and their animal husbandry. So one can improve basically the newer methods of agriculture. If that is also simultaneously given to the villagers, it will make a huge difference. But I, as an organization, do not want to spread myself thin. There are very few NGOs who are in the engaged in the noble cause of collecting rainwater. And since we have been successful at that, we like to limit ourselves to that and leave the rest of the things to other organizations who are already doing these kind of works. Because when we have made them a little economically stable, the other things, the NGOs who are engaged in that kind of activity will find it much easier to execute. So I do not want to spread myself so thin and take on a lot of activities. I want to go from village to village and provide water.
I think there is a similar notion with OVBI water too, that we want to focus on water first before we consider any of the other interventions, but those would be more in terms of education and training for soil conservation, sustainable farming, and others. So I think we are lockstep over there with you. We have one more question, and I think you may have answered this prior, but this is a question from, again, Manu Nambodari. He seems to be your big fan over here. Amlaji, how much annual maintenance is needed for the check dams, and what is the expected lifetime of these dams?
Yeah. So not much maintenance is required. The amount of net profits that they earn from the check dam, they can easily spare a portion, a very, very infinitesimal portion of that. They can put it in a bank account and keep it for the maintenance, which would amount to about 25,000 rupees. You can convert it in dollars, please, Dolly, if you don't mind. 25,000 rupees would be equivalent to how many dollars? You may tell the public. So only with that much, they only have to strengthen their earthen bunding. And in case some superficial cracks have come in the plaster, not in the foundation, not in any other area, sometimes some cracks come only in the plaster, they can be filled with cement. So overall, about 25,000 rupees in the whole year would suffice to maintain the check dam.
That would be about $3 million.
Exactly.
Yes. I think there is one last question I would go through. For water management conservation, drip irrigation is recommended a lot. It's actually one of the most recommended techniques. So what can those farmers do who can't afford drip irrigation but want to reap the same benefits? Aren't they always 1 foot back as compared to the big farms?
So you see, the thing is, these people are taking crops where only 1 or 2 waterings are sufficient in the whole season of the crop. That means one time the field is soaked for things like gram, only 1 watering. In crops, you can't have drip irrigation. You can have drip irrigation in horticulture. So we are trying to promote and change the mindset of the farmers by telling them to put more and more land under horticulture, so that by the capillary action of the soil and by the root system of the trees, the water automatically trickles down into the aquifers and the underground rivers, and this will make this the farming sustainable, because even after say about 25, 30, 40 years, when if the check dam gets silted, then also because of the trees that have been that have cropped up on this land, they will be able to have water in their beds. So this is our larger plan, and we are encouraging our farmers to try to bring about 1/3 of their land under horticulture.
Thank you so much. I'm going to have Mohanji come. I would definitely like to hear your poem Jal Jal before we end today. But thank you so much for being here, and Mohanji will speak to you next.
Yeah, let's do the Jal Jal poem first.
Jal Jal Kal Kal. I would like to say, I don't recall the words of the Jal Jal, so I'll say another one.
Yeah, your favorite one.
The whole. ये जिंदगी तो जल से है, जल स्वरूप मन हुआ, सबसे मिल तरल हुआ। ये जिंदगी हम जल को दें, उसे जुटाना सीख लें, कि बूंद बूंद जोड़कर सागर महा बना ही लें। जो कूप कूप भर गया तो खेत खेत खिल गया, जो खेत खेत खिल गया तो गांव गांव खुश हुआ। ये जिंदगी तो जल से है, जल स्वरूप मन हुआ, सबसे मिल तरल।
Ji, thank you so much. Thank you for staying up late, and it's beautiful work. We hope to continue to work with you and double, triple the capability. God bless.
It is my
Beautiful
privilege
evening.
and honor that you all have joined hands with us, and we are so honored to be working with you.
Okay, now for the audience. We hope this session has been informative and has inspired you a bit to get involved in solving India's water crisis. We will have similar live sessions every Sunday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time till the end of the year. You can see the lineup and the topics and the speakers by visiting eliminatewaterpoverty.org. Again, I'm repeating, eliminatewaterpoverty.org. Many experts believe that we have less than a decade to address this challenge in India. So we need all the help we can get. Would love for each one of you to participate in whatever way you can. Pass on the information, educate others, volunteer with us, or donate whatever little you can to continue this all-important work. Please visit us on eliminatewaterpoverty.org to find more. I'm sure each one of you would join me in thanking Amlaji for her words of wisdom, beautiful poetry, and tireless efforts of making this world a better place for our future generations. We look forward to working with her closely to guide us on these critical issues in the coming months with all her expertise and dedication. And we thank you all for joining us. Do help us in solving this defining challenge of our lifetime. Thank you and take care. Bye-bye.